Hello everyone, it's your girl Victoria and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new. Today we are going to be talking about how you can start traveling even when you don't really got the funds. I mean, I don't really got the funds either, but I do have the ways that I've been to Italy, I've been to France, I've been to New York, and I've got so many more trips coming up this year. And guess what? I'm still kind of broke. I am still traveling, obviously smartly. I am making sure that I am getting my debts and my bills in line as well, but I'm not letting that stop me, and you shouldn't either. Here are my ways that you can start traveling even when you're broke. So let's get into the video. I have my notes on my iPad here, and we're just gonna go through it. I don't necessarily have these in any particular order because I think they're all kind of important, but the first tip that we are going to get into is prioritizing traveling. It can be easy to say, I want to go to Italy, but then not make any moves to actually go to Italy. Or did you start savings? Did you make a Pinterest board to inspire you to start said savings, or buy the ticket if you had a little bit of extra money? Let me tell you, you've got to start putting what you're most passionate about. And if you're watching this video, I'm assuming it's travel, or you're here to see my beautiful face. Hey, how's it going? No, but I'm assuming that you want to start traveling the world, or you want to start traveling places. Are you prioritizing? It should be just as important to you as making sure your pets go to the vet or something like that. Making sure you're making moves to do that. So if going to nice restaurants while traveling is important to you, then make a little like savings for that. Like put like $5 here. So instead of going to get McDonald's every time like you have lunch, bring lunch from home. Put that $5 in like a little bank, a little savings, like a little thing over there, and keep it so when you go to Mexico City, you can use that to take yourself to the finest and best restaurants ever. You just have to save and budget for that. And when you put traveling fund in your budget, that's you prioritizing. You're consciously thinking about setting aside money for that and putting it towards it. I also think that when you're traveling, budget while you're there. While you're prioritizing putting travel first, you also should be prioritizing the travel must. So, like I said earlier, if you want to go to the nicest restaurants, maybe put a little bit more money towards that, and then don't do as many experiences, or do some free experiences to kind of round out your trip, and vice versa. Like for me, when I went to Italy and France this past January, I definitely wanted to do more versus going to the nicest restaurants. So I didn't mind going to the grocery stores and picking up food and coming back to my Airbnb and making it, versus I got to put that money towards going to see the Duomo, going to the Louvre, just prioritizing what is more important to you in that moment. And what you don't get done that trip, like say you don't go to this restaurant this trip, just go next time. And if you start using my tips, there will be multiple next times for you. So keep that in mind. You just really have to know what's important to you when it comes to travel and what you want to do. The next thing that I do when it comes to saving more money, traveling on a budget, putting your flights on layaway. When I tell you, it's been something that's allowed me to have so much more fun with traveling. It's been amazing. Of course, it requires a little bit more planning, because in order to put it on layaway, you have to do it in advance, but it kind of reasonably allows you to put money towards your trip and actually do it. I have traveled to New York, I have traveled to Europe, I am traveling to so many other places using this site. It's called Fly Now, Pay Later, and or is it Travel Now, Pay Later? I'll put it in the screen which one it is, but I love it. I know there's a couple of other sites that are doing that now. I know that Klarna is doing that, and I'm just like, okay, coming out of the blue with this, huh? I mean, with the pandemic, I feel like everybody's travel bug is just like heightened, because like we all want to get out and just like go everywhere. Let me explain how you can put your flights on layaway. I hope you're taking notes. So how it works is that you pay a deposit. So like say you found a $900 round trip to Amsterdam, right? So you would pay a deposit of maybe like $78, maybe $100, and then you would make either weekly or bi-weekly payments to the website. They've booked it through the airline, so like it could be Delta, American, Air Canada. They go through the booking site, and so like they're a third-party booking service, and so you're paying them, the site, for your ticket. And so you have the option to either choose weekly or bi-weekly payments, and I find that it's really nice and it's very flexible. So if you like kind of like treat it like a small little bill, like it's like, oh, it has to be done, like it gets done. It has allowed me to actually go places and actually do things versus trying to come up with $1,000 all at once. And you can do that, you can save and boom, but like if a good deal is happening, like, and you have to have $1,000 or like something like that to book it, it's like, yo, like why can't I put a little bit towards it and then pay as like the trip comes? That's why I really like using this site, because it allows me to have the time to either pay more when I can, or just make my payments. And it's like I think you have 26 weeks and out. I think sometimes you can do less, and so it has a lot of time for you to plan your trip, to book the trip. And I just love this site. Really recommend them. They've been nothing but good to me. And I know there is some qualms about the buy now, pay later kind of thing, but when it comes to travel, I highly believe that it's worth it, just because travel is such an intangible experience. Go get to see another country, another culture. It's so worthwhile. And definitely do a little bit more research if you're curious about it. I will have the link down below. You do have to do your research before booking with them. Now, when it comes to booking with them, they will give you the decent price for that time. So if you're booking during a busy season, the overall price is going to be a lot higher, so your weekly or bi-weekly payment will be higher. Your deposit will be higher because it's going to be a higher price. But if you do your research, either book way in advance, as far as in advance you can, or make sure that you booking throughout a tourist season or a slow season. So you do have to do your research when it comes to them, just because as much as I do love them, I do, there are times where you can find better prices when it comes to just going to like another third-party service, or sometimes the airline themselves. So you definitely should do your research and check every place that you can. The only thing is, like, say you go to Skyscanner, you find a deal that's $400, and on this app is $1,600 for like the payments. It's better off to go for the $400, so save up and see if you can get that as soon as you can. Sometimes it's hard because like those deals, like you have to hop on it and sometimes they're gone. When it comes to price wise, I personally find that a little bit better. So if you could like wait a couple of weeks, wait a couple of months, try and see if you can get the money up for that, I'd rather you do that. But I personally really do recommend this website, just because like it's helped me so much. I've planned my trips in advance though, and I try to go not necessarily off seasons, but off seasons and just times where it's not going to be as busy, because that's when the prices are lower. So that's another tip. Go when prices are going to be lower. So like I went to Europe in January. It was cold. Actually, not that cold. The sun was there. I had really good weather when I was there. But it's necessarily colder, and so not a lot of people want to be there at that time. Sucks for them, because of that, it wasn't as crowded, and I felt a lot just better being there. Speaking of those other sites and just other places you could look for better deals, you want to make sure that you're looking at all of the flight deal sites you can get. So, the ones that I personally really love, Skyscanner has to be my absolutely favorite flight deal site I've ever came across. So many people recommend it. For a good reason. Skyscanner isn't the only site that you could be utilizing to find good deals. You can also use apps like Hopper. I think they have a website, but you can use them to look and kind of like keep track of when deals are happening, when prices are going to go up or down. I know Hopper is really good at just tracking. Another one that I found within the past year is actually called Scott's Cheap Flights. I really love going on their website. I personally have not booked a trip through them yet. They don't book the flight for you. They find deals from Google Flights, and they let you know what's up. Like, they'll let you know if an airline messed up and if there's a good deal going on right now. Like, they let you know. And I love their Instagram page. They're so much fun. They have a lot of good deals, and they have different levels. So they have a free level, so you'll see like the basic economy, and then if you want to upgrade to premium economy, have even more deals. And then they have like elite, so like that's like business class, first class seats. Like they do it all. But of course the upper two you have to pay for. So kind of piggybacking off of that is the next tip is to be open to anywhere and everywhere. Skyscanner has a feature where you can put your home airport in, and then for your destination you can kind of put everywhere and put your dates in, and then just see what the deals are. So like I think there was like some deals from the United States for like $50, and I'm like, ooh, and it was like to LA, and I'm like, just like for a certain time, like during their off season. Be open to, like, if you want to travel, you want to go everywhere. Be open to seeing what the world has to offer. Of course, if you have a specific destination and you really want to go to that, then of course do your research for that. But I think you will find the best deals when you're just open to just buying a ticket that's like $50 and seeing where you can go. And then my last important tip, don't get too cheap when it comes to your sleeping arrangements. I tried to make a dad joke, it didn't really land. But point is, when it comes to where you're gonna be staying, while we have some cheap options, not necessarily the best to do, I feel like you will get a lot more bang with your buck if you choose a place that you know is gonna be like worth it. Now, here's where I'm coming with that. So I personally am a huge fan of Airbnb. I love the idea of being able to stay in someone's home, or maybe it's like a Airbnb company and they got this apartment and like they just took the time to make it look nice, provide you with everything to kind of be there if you need anything. And I really like it because, one, you have a kitchen there. And so because you have said kitchen, you can go to the grocery store and pick up things. Like, say if you don't want to go out to eat for dinner, you can use the Airbnb's kitchen. Or if you go to dinner and you have leftovers and you don't really want to go get anything for lunch, you can heat it up in the kitchen. I really love the Airbnb aspect because like I get to have the entire place to myself. I just get this full surrounding and I feel it's nice. I really like the Airbnbs. Now, Airbnbs can get a little pricey, but I personally find that you find cheaper accommodations on Airbnb when you're farther away from like the center city. Now, of course, if you need a center city, I'm like, okay, that's fine, but like you're probably gonna pay a little bit more and just be prepared for that. And I personally don't mind paying a little bit extra if that's gonna be convenience, because when it comes to traveling, like I'm a very big walker, and so it's like I want to kind of be able to walk everywhere if I want to. But in addition to maybe picking a place that's a little farther out from the city, you could also choose to do a private room. So of course you would be staying with someone else, like, you know, like you're in someone else's house, but they'll have like either a room sectioned off or like maybe like this cute little tiny house, and so that'll be like a guest suite and you can stay there. That can usually be a lot cheaper than if you were going to have the entire place to yourself, which I do a lot of the times. I'm a little bougie and broke here. If you look hard enough, and depending on where you are, of course, location is everything. Everywhere. You just have to be willing to look. But the last thing that I really love about Airbnb is if you book in advance, like far enough in advance, a lot of places allow you to split the payment. So you can say you got something that's $400 and you can reserve the Airbnb for $200, and then you just pay the rest like either, I think it's like a week before or 2 weeks before, or you can pay as early as you want. And so it just depends on you. But I really like that you can do that because it'll allow you to reserve it, but also not have to spend all the money and kind of like save up that money real quick or work for that money real quick. Love doing that because it'll allow me to reasonably pay for this space, and that's where I get a little bit of the nicer Airbnbs because it allows me to split the payment. And so that's what I really like. Now, the second half of my accommodation tip is you can always stay in a hostel. Now, I haven't personally stayed in a hostel before, but so many people do review it well. Like, it's like a community that there is to it, and you meet all these kinds of different people, and all you have to do is, like, you can either get your own private room, but at that point I personally think you should just go get an Airbnb or a hotel. Like, if you're gonna be at a hostel, be in a hostel. So in a hostel, you know, if you're just in a basic room, you're sharing like a bunk bed kind of situation, like with 6 other people. Like, it's $20 a night. Can't really beat that for the experiences that you'll get with the community that you'll get. You're saving all that money that you could put towards transportation or souvenirs. Personally, I haven't done it yet, but I've heard it talked about highly, so don't be scared. Do your research on it. Of course, you can also couch surf. I haven't done that, but I've heard a lot of people do it. I personally would maybe try that if I was backpacking. I think that'd be a cool thing to possibly do. I think there's a website called couchsurfing.com. I'm not sure. But yes, you guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you are taking these tips and I hope you put them into good practice, because let me tell you, traveling is so worth it. Of course, I'm still trying to get my finances together, all that, but I'm not gonna let that stop me from trying to start living a good life. And for me, part of that is traveling and going to see other cultures, other worlds, and enjoying what life has to offer me. And so I hope you take this video, please use the tips, use my links, use everything, and go start your travel journey. I am going to let you go. Thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you in the next one.